Cloudy downtown, 78 degrees. Cardinals fans, FanDuel Sports Network is your TV and streaming home of the Cardinals. Subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network or stream the Cardinals through your TV provider. Visit FanDuelSportsNetwork.com for details. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
This is the Gashouse Gang on 104.1 FM KMOX. Sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin comfort dealer. And by Anderson Hospital, a Newsweek World's Best Hospital. Now, the Gashouse Gang on KMOX.
Yes, the Gashouse Gang every Tuesday with Bernie Miklas and Chris Ranji. I'm Tom Ackerman, and Tuesday's mean manager Oliver Marmol joins us, and it's always a pleasure to have him. And we have an extra special treat today that we're going to have Oli introduce. But first and foremost, Oli, thanks as always for doing this on KMOX and on our video stream on X and on Facebook and on YouTube.
Absolutely. Happy to do it. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. Good to be with you. If you would, please introduce our special guest. And I know that the one thing that we did say back when he was hired was how many people say such good things about him. And you were at the front of the line, I would say, on that. You were very excited to bring along this coach.
Absolutely. I got a call early on in the process while we were looking for someone to fill the position from Albert. And he spoke super, highly of Brownie, said a lot of really good things about just his approach, his ability to talk to players in a way that was direct, but still guys knew that he had their backs. But he's able to do it in a way where, man, if you're highly analytical, if you're really into just the biomechanics of the swing, he's able to speak a lot of different languages, man, and connect with a lot of different guys. We went through the interview process. He killed it, and I am so happy we made the decision that we did to bring him on. So I thought it'd be a good idea, and talking to you guys, of having him just join us for a little bit and allow you guys and people, some of the fans, to ask questions and dive into kind of what he does on a daily basis, but also what he's seeing from some of our young hitters.
It's a great idea. Let's bring in Cardinals hitting coach Brant Brown. Thank you so much for being with us, Brant. It's great to have you on KMOX. Oh, we seem to have lost him. Well, that's we're off to.
That's a good start.
Yeah, in baseball terms, we're 0 for 1. Where we'll get ourselves back on track. But
just one bad inning.
Yeah, it's okay. You get at least 4 at bats in the ball game. But Oli,
go for it.
If you look at yesterday's game, obviously that's a disappointment. This year, you've really hinged on starting pitching to get you where you need to be, and Sonny Gray has been that guy for you. There's no doubt about it. You feel good on days that Sonny's pitching, and he actually said after the game, the strange thing is I felt good, and the results weren't there.
No, in talking to him in between innings, he really wanted that next one, and it just didn't go his way. Those guys did a nice job of how they attacked him. I spoke to it briefly in the post game, but you're looking at a guy who gets ahead and then is able to punch you out with the sweeper. His ability to get to 2 strikes and then put you away is one of the best in the league. And this group that we're facing, man, they're super aggressive early in the count. 0-0 swings, they get after it, and they got some juice. They hit for power, they hit homers. If you look at that lineup, a lot of guys with 20 homers, 27. It's impressive. And they had a good approach against him, didn't allow him to get to 2 strikes, and were able to put together some good at bats. So unfortunately, it didn't go his way, our way. But you keep moving. As we continue to connect with Brant Brown, we'll turn things over to Bernie Miklas, and then we'll come back to Brownie.
Sure. Yeah, I wanted to go back on Sonny Gray. Of course, we really admire his ability, and when he's been on, he's been great, but he's been really inconsistent this year, really inconsistent. If you look at since the All-Star break, he's got one of the worst starting pitching ERAs in the majors, and the home runs are flying at a rate that wasn't even close to where it was in the first half of the season when he wasn't giving up many home runs at all. So what's going wrong for him? How would you describe kind of the extremes? So good in the first half, and frankly, if you go by ERA and even fielding independent ERA, not the same pitcher in the second half. What are the reasons?
I would wait to see what he does here over the next month as well, because he spoke to it. If you look at his Julys, just overall, they're not very good. I don't care what year you look at. It's just not impressive. And he knows that, and it was no different this year. I'm really interested to see how he bounces back from that more than anything, because we did see a really good pitcher in the first half, and he's gotten beat up a little bit over the second half. I mean, I think he's still in a good spot. If he was fatigued or not feeling like himself, I'd speak to it. But the reality is, he's even yesterday, man, like he wanted the ball that extra inning. He felt good. He felt strong. They just did damage against him. So I'm more interested to see what this next month looks like for him more than anything.
That's Oli Marmol, Bernie Miklasz, Chris Ranji. I'm Tom Ackerman, and let's reintroduce Brant Brown. Brant, thank you for connecting via audio. For our viewers, we'll be listening to you, and also I hope that you were able to hear Oli's tremendous introduction of you, and if not, you can watch it on replay like everybody else. How are you?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm doing well. I was listening to him. I was getting pumped up. I was waiting for him to finish it, and then all of a sudden on my computer went blank. Like my computer didn't even want to hear me, like, just have him put the cherry on top.
Yeah, it's all that video you've been watching throughout the season, over and over. You've been wearing that computer out
at 6 a.m. in the morning. Yeah, I've been watching it since about 6, looking at the bad guys.
Before we go around the horn here, and I'll have Chris go after me, but just give us an overview of this season from your perspective, joining the Cardinals here in 2025.
Yeah, I mean, obviously very excited. This was kind of like the job that I coveted the most. But as with any group of young men, getting to know them, getting to know the ins and outs, how is the environment inside? How's the environment outside? So it's kind of, it's been a work in progress. I would say the one big thing moving forward is that we are really trying to change what our hitters value as a whole. And we're really trying to change how they go about their day in preparing to beat a pitcher each and every night. It's not there yet, and we are working diligently and every day, and sometimes it shows itself and sometimes it doesn't. But I think at the end of the day, just our constant message of trying to restructure, like, how they go about their day, what they value, and how to execute on a team level instead of an individual level, I'm hoping ultimately will just assist our offense and make it more productive.
I'm interested in that, the day-to-day, or just overseeing an entire group of hitters, because it seems to me that a lot of fans kind of look at the hitting coach as if you're an offensive coordinator in football, which is not anywhere close to that, right? So you do have a game plan. Each guy is different. Batter versus pitcher is an individual thing, one-on-one there. So how do you approach that, and how do you mold or shape an offense as a hitting coach, as opposed to like what an offensive coordinator would do?
Well, one, I wish I had a whistle sometimes. I really do.
Just in the middle of a game?
Yeah, in the middle of the game, in the cage, when someone says something, just blow the whistle, like, next play. But no, you're right. Like, we obviously know, how a pitcher is going to navigate in that bat, and then we kind of structure our game plan. Like, some pitchers are just like, hey, everyone can do this to beat them. Some pitchers, we just tend to our hitters' strengths, and then it's going to be up to them to be able to stay in the tunnel that they're supposed to be staying in. I think one of my biggest, points that we could get better on is I call our hitters a bunch of flat earthers because they only believe in one half of the field because of what data says. And I don't disagree with that. I know why the data says what it says. I mean, obviously a hitter decels later when he's pulling the ball. The ball's hit more out in front. So obviously, it's going to have a little bit more heat on it. The pull side corners, a shorter distance, but not every night are we able to do that versus a pitcher? And we've had plenty of nights where we have that plan in place, but I just wish that as a group, we would understand, okay, tonight, this is the weapon that we have to beat this pitcher with. And then tomorrow we can have more fun. But today we're going to have to do this. And that's just something that we continue to grind with, even on the individual level, because we've ran into some difficulty with those crisscross guys that we're going to have to use the whole field. And it just shows itself in the game.
Coach Bernie Miklas here. Thanks for joining us. I wanted to ask you about Jordan Walker, and I don't really need to, ask a lengthy question because we know the situation. He's looked good at times this year, but then it sort of just falls back into that hole he's been in, and he's in one of those holes now. Tell us what you see with him and all the work that you two have been doing together, and what progress you see, if any, and what's it going to take for him to be more consistent?
I mean, just on his like daily structure level, is at some point in time, he's going to have to devote kind of more focus on preparation. We've had long conversations with this, is not only looking at film on the starter, but also being able to come in and the first day of a series, like just take a look at all the bullpen guys, like all the information and videos available, just so we're not like, getting snuck up on when a guy comes in. On the execution point, I think not only Walk, but as a team, we have a tendency, and here's a funny story, is that they start using the word, I'm going to sell out to this pitch and sell out to that pitch. And I called a timeout. I'm like, listen, can we just say like, we're going to be all over or ambush or take a shot at? Because like when you guys say sell out, like you literally sell out, which means that they throw a rosin bag, you're looking for a heater and you're doing a swing and a pirouette coming out of the box. So like, can we just maybe like define that a little bit, a little bit more, with intent? And the funniest thing is Yvonne was going to face Suter the other night in Cincinnati. He's like, oh, I'm going to sell. And he goes, I'm going to ambush that fastball. So hopefully we're going to chip away at that. And that's, kind of something you can see at the plate. I think not only Walk, but as a group is like historically as Cardinals is when hitters are struggling, they try to swing their way out instead of hit their way out. And to identify the point where like, man, like I'm seeing a golf ball, I'm late on this, I'm early on that. Like, I'm just going to downshift. I'm going to grab my 6-way or my 6-iron. I'm going to stay in the fairway and get through the day. Work the ball the other way. If there's a big hole over there with a runner on first, take the hit and just kind of downshift. And it'd be amazing when guys think they downshift is what actually happens is it calms them down. They're not as aggressive. They're more relaxed. And then usually you get more out of that. On the mechanical side, like each and every one of our hitters, they know exactly what they're good at, what they're not good at, where they're good at, where they're not good at, and then also like how their movement pattern should be based. Because we measure them all and we tell them, hey, like this works really well. This doesn't work really well. Like this is your superpower. And I think the one thing with Walk is we've kind of played a massive game of tennis going back and forth with what he feels like he needs to do versus what he really needs to do. And until, we can get a full commitment out of him to just say, all right, this is where I'm at. If I'm looking at the numbers, like it's not the best, but for me, like there's a really easy way out. It just, he might have to be a little bit more uncomfortable to be able to achieve what we wanted to achieve.
If we have time for one more question before the break, we're talking with Cardinals hitting instructor Brant Brown here on the Gashouse Gang KMOX. I want to ask you this because it was something when you guys had fits with the Pirates that night where they were throwing a lot of just really high gas at you, and just you guys weren't being able to do much with it. And Oli talked about that after the game, that the high velo stuff gives your guys some problems. And I went and looked at the numbers, and that's absolutely correct. In terms of fastballs 95 plus, you have some of the the poorest offensive numbers in the majors. Like, why is that? Because fastballs are so prevalent. It's not like it's anything new, but why is this group, just as a whole, why does it struggle against the real blazing heat stuff?
Yeah, well, one, we've been telling them this for 2 months. 2 months. And the first time we told them, they argued the data and like, well, are we seeing more sliders with those fastballs? And we said, no, we are seeing more fastballs and we are not moving them forward. And we talked about like, how do we get better hitting fastballs? Well, we need to get on the machine. We need to ramp it up. You need to get on time for it. You need to move closer to the machine, pretend there's 2 strikes. You need to try to drive a ball the other way. You need to try to drive a ball up the middle. You need to try to pull a ball. Like, practice things that we are bad at, but practice all the shots and then try to compromise yourself. Like, it's okay to feel bad in training to feel better in the game. And that's one thing that we kind of do in reverse is we'd rather feel good in BP and then suffer in the game, or where I have more of a mentality of like, listen, like, take your licks before the game so the game slows down. The second thing is I just think, as a group, they've had multiple different types of hitting coaches with different types of content. And I feel like at some point, like, I just don't think that our moves are as athletic as our players are. And we can just basically kind of get into a discussion about making our moves a little bit more athletic. I also think that will help us cover fastballs because some of our guys have poor direction. Some of our guys, once again, like, they're just going to sell out to it. Some of our guys don't know how to hit ride heaters. We talk about keeping our hands inside and above. So it's gonna be chipping away and just trying to provide them with information and, either pushing them or shoving them in the right direction. But it's, to me, I get frustrated, but at the end of the day, I understand that like the only thing that I can do as a coach is to try to educate them, try to teach them, and hopefully at some point they'll listen.
So essentially, yeah, what you're saying is it's about buy-in here, and that your job is to try to get them to buy into it. So where's the responsibility? Is it more on coaching? Is it more on the individual player that they need to listen, or they need to take what is being taught to them and go with it?
Well, as everyone knows, the responsibility is going to fall on me. That's 100% sure. As Freddie Freeman would say, when Freddie went over, he would just say bad hitting coach. I'm like, yep, you got it. But I think it's just a little bit of both. Try to, for me, you're always trying to teach, to what the player is, but there also needs to be, I'm trying to teach them to who they can be.
Yes.
So I think it's maybe a little bit of a 50-50. I need to keep investigating and try to find whatever way or verbiage or drill set or fun we can have out of it to make it interesting. And for them, it's kind of like, okay, like, I get it. I haven't hit a fastball, in 2 weeks, so I should probably, start practicing or try to compromise myself or, do some overtraining that'll make the game easier.
And Oli,
that's the thing. Sometimes,
I was going to
say,
the
only thing I'd add to that, Tom, like, there's times where you want to speed that up, and it does you a disservice and takes longer than you would want it to. So you have to be very careful in the player being ready for that information and change. Because if you just force them to change, then they have this excuse, the safety blanket of like, I don't feel comfortable. That's not what I wanted. So it has to come to a point where you just continue to pour into them, man. And this is what Brownie, like he says, he gets frustrated, but the reality is he shows up and he's so consistent with being the same every day of I'm going to continue to teach. And you're waiting for the player to finally realize, all right, a change is needed. And when you're both in that spot, then you can move forward as quickly as needed. But you can't speed that up. You don't know what that timeline looks like. You just can continue to pour into these guys until we get there. But what I think he does well is exactly that, man. He's just going to continue to give you the right information, teach you what's needed, and then once the player is ready, then we can move forward. Some guys are there, some guys aren't. That's just the reality of it, and you would hope by a full season that you can get everybody there, but that's not how this works. It's just that's not realistic.
Seeing something in the player that they don't see in themselves, and coaching and development as they continue to grow it. That's what we're talking about here with Brant Brown, the Cardinals hitting coach. Manager Oliver Marmol is with us. Chris Ranji, Bernie Miklas. I'm Tom Ackerman. It's the Gashouse Gang. Ronnie, is it okay if we keep you for a little bit longer? Just a couple of questions after the break?
Absolutely.
Awesome. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back in just a moment. To the Gashouse Gang with Oli Marmol is sponsored by Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. Back right after this on KMOX.
We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we're here for all of life's wins. Like when you get a new car, or new boat, or new driver, or when your son moves out, but your mom moves in, or you find out you're expecting again, or when one rental property turns into 2, then 20, or you realize they're all in Tornado Alley. Life is full of life events, so call your Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance agent or visit mofbinsurance.com to find an agent near you, and we'll make sure you have the right coverage for each of life's wins.
We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we're for the people of Missouri, in good times and in bad. We're for Missouri families and Missouri communities. We're for giving back to those communities and lifting people up. And when Missouri weather rips through our state, we're for helping put back the pieces. We're for brighter days and new tomorrows. We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. And if you live in Missouri, we're for you.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Your home equity could vanish almost overnight, stolen by scammers who forge a deed and transfer it out of your name. The FBI calls it house stealing, and the worst part is you may not know it until it's too late. Find out if you're already a victim now at HomeTitleLock.com. Use promo code RADIO for a 30-day free trial, a title scan, and access to a title specialist, a $250 value. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now. Promo code RADIO.
The Dave Glover Show, weekdays at 1 on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
And they unfortunately have started out September with giving up 11 runs. Ground ball to third. That was a tough play by Hernandez. Tried to get it on a short hop. And Sajasi's heading to second base, and he's going to slide in safely with a hustling double. I believe they'll give him a double on that.
Welcome back. It is the Gashouse Gang on KMOX. Our conversation with Oli Marmol, sponsored by Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer, with Bernie Miklas, Chris Ranji. I'm Tom Ackerman. We're very pleased to have Brant Brown, Cardinals hitting coach, with us for another segment. Brant, we actually do ask listeners to chime in with some questions and comments, and Terry Moore checking in here. Terry Moore, one of the great center fielders in Cardinals history from the 30s and 40s. I'm curious why Walker sets up at bat far away from home plate, asked Terry. Is that supposed to help him from chasing balls away? That is an observation from Terry Moore. A lot of people wanting to hear a little bit more about Jordan Walker. Your thoughts, Brant?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes he can be far off, but the thing we have to realize about Walk is, like, he's a really big human being. And his superpower is his ability actually to rotate and shift, like, out in front of the plate. Like, you know, they talk about pitcher's extension. Like, if his swing is correct, like, he is so far out there because of how big he is. So some of it is based on, by design, yes, to help, you know, not chase. The other is to just help him, like, be able to use his levers and his body. Because before, he was really close to the plate, and the bat always wants to operate from the, like, inside black of the inside corner of the plate to, like, the fair portion of the field. So he was so close to the plate that when he would go to hit, his barrel was already on the middle inside part. So that's why like everything he would squeeze back in, because like the hands know they have to get back inside to go back out. So we kind of created this like loop in his swing that we're trying, diligently to get out. So by scooting off, we're hoping that, he can use space, because all hitters love to hit in space. They are operating heavy away attacks to him. So we have talked about scooting a little bit closer to help counterattack that. But at the end of the day, like the reason why we scooted him off was just to allow his body to have space to where, like, we all know if he touches it, it's like 112 miles an hour. So we're just trying to get to that point to where he can touch it more often.
A follow up on Jordan Walker, not to turn this into the Jordan Walker show, but he's very, very important to the Cardinals' future. But Brownie, and I would ask Oli to answer on this one. Well, like we all talk to fans a lot; they correspond with us, and let me speak for myself. I preach. Look, he's 23 years old. Look, he came into the major leagues. He was pretty good at first, but some things had to get better, and you can't give up on a guy that's this young, has got so much potential. But they're frustrated because they're like, well, why don't we see progress? And I get that. I totally get that. So here's my question for the both of you. Tell Cardinals fans why they should be confident that this guy will put it together.
I'll start with that, Brownie.
Yeah, why don't you go first, Oli?
Because here's what I would say. There's a combination of talent, but also I do feel, to what Brownie said earlier, there's going to be buy-in, and there's a level of aptitude there that'll allow for it. He's young, and when you first get here, it's easy to have success. That's why I love when talking to Yadi and Albert, and these guys have been around for a while, man. Like, they'll tell you, getting to the big leagues isn't the hard part. It's staying at the big league level, because once these guys start to figure you out, it's very difficult to continue to flip the script and prove that you can stay. So Walker did have a little bit of success when he first came up here. And once they know how to pitch you, they just double down on that until you prove that you can combat it. And he hasn't shown the ability to do that yet. So I feel like there's enough talent there where I'm nowhere close to giving up on a Jordan Walker. There are adjustments to be made. There's a commitment to the pregame work that can get to a better level. And Brownie spoke to that earlier. But I'm nowhere close, and I'll let Brownie speak as well, to giving up on this, because he can improve his move to the ball. He can improve his preparation, and those two things could lead to success. Again, when? It's hard to sit here and put a timeline on it. There has to be some really diligent work that needs to take place there, but I do feel like he has an opportunity to make these adjustments and be the type of player that we were hoping for when he first got up here.
Is it my turn?
Yeah.
Go for it, Brownie.
All right. Yeah. So just to echo on that, like when Jordan Walker is ready to be good, like I feel like it's going to be up to him. Like we all know the potential. I don't even think he knows like the ceiling. And to all these words is like, we always talk about this is like, okay, well, this is what they're doing to you and this is what you want to do. But if you can't do what you want to do, like, what are we going to do about it? How are we going to counterattack? So just trying to continue to make the point of like how preparation, how movement patterns, how, can we counterattack? Like we're going to have to give up something to get something. So for a while, until we can show them that we can do this, like they're going to stay there. And then once you start to do it, well, then guess what? You get to come back to what you want to do because they're going to have to do something else. So like, it's just a constant game. It's a big gambit of zigging and zagging. And I just think that, he's still in zig mode, and like the zag mode is just like, it's a stone's throw away. It's there. We just have to, try to keep working and have him commit to it.
So we've been talking a lot about Walker here, but who of these players in their young to mid 20s, their low to mid 20s, do you think are actually on track. And some of them are relatively inexperienced still. Some of them, like Nolan Gorman, has quite a few plate appearances. So how do you, is there a player here or players that you feel like are moving in the right direction?
Oh gosh. Yeah. I mean, you look at Herrera is doing a really nice job, and he's going to continue to make adjustments. But he's a hard worker that, when I say loves being in the box, and it's going to continue to make progress. You look at Mason Wynn. I think the ceiling, and I've said this before, the ceiling where Mason is today compared to what his ceiling is, it's not even close. And we're seeing a good year out of him, but he has the potential to do a lot of really good things and beat you in a lot of different ways, defensively on the bases, but also when you look at his offense, man, he can hit doubles, he can hit you a couple homers, but he can also just, man, his 2-strike approach, he can spray it all over the field. There's a lot of different ways he can beat you, and we're just scratching the surface on what's possible for him. Victor Scott's no different. I think he has a very high ceiling. We're nowhere close to it at the moment. So yeah, there's guys that are headed in the right direction. I mean, when you look at what Burley has done in making a real adjustment this year and controlling the strike zone and swinging where he can do more damage, taking his walks, that's not easy to do, especially at this level. So I feel like there's a decent amount of guys that are headed in the right direction. There's some that have not taken the step forward that we would have hoped for. And we just got to continue to be head down and teaching them and sticking to the process.
Brownie, do you feel like you've unlocked some things with Nolan Gorman, and is progress coming there with the lefty?
With Gorm, like we spent a lot of time this off season, kind of like our initial evaluation and kind of what we wanted to do, didn't quite pan out. So we have, changed his stance a little bit. He does understand his own body. We backed him off a little bit. He has better eyes out over the plate. He's just getting a lot of fastballs and changeups right now. At times you're like, wow, like that's really nice. And then at other times you're like, what were we swinging at there? So I think those are some growing pains. I do think through, discussion, he's picked up his working progress, working on the ground balls. He comes in, he has a diligent cage routine. He does study. Proud of him on that aspect. To Oli's point, like Burley's probably the one that I'm most proud of, just because like he bought in right away. We've worked through a couple different things, but we found out exactly how his body needs to move. We found out exactly like where he needs to hunt and what helps him, because last year, he was just, you threw it, he swung at it. And you still see some signs of it, but like, he's done a way better job of, we call it terms of the at-bat. So, he may, swinging a ball over your head, you can't swing at a ball at your shoelaces. So, he chooses up or he'll choose in, and he'll pretty much, for the most part, stay there. I mean, all hitters are going to have good and bad days. But as far as just his ability to buy in and just like talk through things, like we've had discussions where we haven't argued, but like it's taken us a couple days to resolve it, and that's okay. Like that's what grown-ups do. That's how problems are resolved. Negotiations, right? Both parties are dissatisfied, but like you need to be able to discuss that. And like, it's okay to disagree, it's okay to talk through things. And I always tell them at the end of the day, we're going to do what you want to do. It's just, I may disagree with what you want to do. And there is nothing like that I want more than to, like, that's my job, is to increase the player's value. So, I'm just really proud of him. I think Donovan has found a couple things in his gather, because he's a left-right combination. So's Gorman. They can do some wonky things. So I'm looking forward to when he comes back. But there's a lot of guys, I'm proud of the whole team. I mean, at the beginning of the year, it was just a really fun sight. Then baseball kind of happened, and this team traditionally has always been, like they'll slug some, they don't walk, they don't strike out, high contact. And kind of when push came to shove, they all kind of scattered, into their own little rooms and put the do not disturb sign. But we've been constantly trying to work on communication. Like our hitters meetings are so much better, than it was at the beginning of the year. Players are starting to talk. They're feeling like it's okay. Like no one wanted to say anything. It's like, is this mic on? When I'm talking, it's like, this is for you. Like I should come in here and say, listen, how are we going to beat this guy? Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, all right, here's a couple pointers. All right, let's go execute. And we're slowly moving into that direction. So there's a lot of things to be grateful for and to look forward to.
Well, we need to break and let you guys go, but I think I speak for everybody when I say this has been very refreshing, and it's great to hear you, and it's a great idea from Oli. He brought Dusty Blake on not long ago, and now Brant Brown, the hitting coach for the Cardinals. Here's Joseph says, this is the kind of transparency that I would love to see during a rebuild. He's not playing us like a fool in these answers. And Graham says transparency would go a long way with fans right now. I totally agree. And Brant Brown, it has been a treat. Thank you. And thank you, Oli, both of you, for being with us on the Gashouse Gang today.
You got it, guys. Appreciate you.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Great to have you both. Good luck tonight against the Athletics. We'll come back and have much more of the Gashouse Gang, talk a little ball with Bernie and with Chris Ranji. I'm Tom Ackerman. Want to tell you right now about cars. Genesis of St. Charles, best car you could go out and buy right now. Talk about a new vehicle. It is a phenomenal vehicle. Genesis of St. Charles has them. Genesis of St. Charles right now is not only the great location, which is on Veterans Memorial Parkway, just off Mid-Rivers Mall Drive and I-70, but it's a great place to just go online, genesisofstcharles.com, and test drive a Genesis. You can have one come to your home. They'll deliver it to you. And by the way, once you buy a Genesis, you get that 3 years of valet. You get all the luxury service. They bring the loaner to your home. I really think the best way to do it is to go to the state-of-the-art facility, 5601 Veterans Memorial Parkway, Genesis of St. Charles, Missouri's #1 Genesis dealership and the first standalone Genesis dealership in the state. GenesisofStCharles.com.
At 5, when others are running out of steam, the Redbird Rush Hour hits the gas. Kevin Wheeler, Matt Pauley, and Bernie Miklasz bring sharp analysis, fresh insight, and no recycled takes. Real baseball talk for fans who know the game. Redbird Rush Hour, weekdays at 5 on 104.1 FM KMOX, the voice of St. Louis, the unrivaled voice of baseball.
It is 79 degrees here in St. Louis, and the AccuWeather Real Feel is 88. Might get a shower later on today, and it'll be cloudy for the rest of the day. The weather is brought to you by Penn Mutual Life Insurance Company, PennMutual.com/STL. Times are always changing, but Penn Mutual stands the test of time. The 178-year young mutual company leading the way in life insurance. Ask your independent advisor or go to PennMutual.com/STL.
Missouri, get ready! The wait is almost over. DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is coming soon to the Show Me State, and you can sign up today. New Missouri customers can get $300 in bonus bets when we launch on December 1st. Download now and place a $5 bet when we go live. DraftKings Sportsbook brings everything you need to elevate your game day, including live in-game betting, lightning-fast payouts, and endless ways to get in on the action, all right from your phone. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code KMOX to grab $300 in bonus bets with just a $5 bet when we go live December 1st. That's code KMOX in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and over. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
Hi, I'm Andrew McCollum, CEO of Philo, the streaming TV company that's proud to be different. At Philo, we put the audience first. It sounds simple, but how often are you frustrated just trying to watch TV? I run a streaming company, and even I can't figure it out. From hidden fees to impossible to break contracts to dozens of confusing apps, TV has gotten way too hard. So we set out to make it better. You want to watch live TV from the channels you've always loved, like Discovery, A&E, Nickelodeon, and more? Philo's got you covered. You want to discover something new from our library of over 80,000 movies and shows? Then save every episode for up to a year so you can skip all the ads? No problem. Your favorite show is over? You want to take a break from your subscription? We've made it as easy as possible, and you can still enjoy more than 100 free channels. We built Philo so that you can love the way you watch TV for a price you can afford. Because at Philo, we're TV fans too. Head to philo.tv/Andrew to start a free trial and see for yourself. That's philo.tv/Andrew.
Calling all future sportscasters. Sharpen your skills and learn from the best of the Missouri Broadcasters Association Sportscasters Forum, Tuesday, September 16th in St. Louis. Join Cardinals beat reporters, broadcasters, and the legendary John Rooney, the voice of the Cardinals, for insider sessions on play-by-play, interviewing, reporting, and more. Then cap the day with a Cards-Reds game at Busch Stadium. Open to college students and broadcasting pros. Just $10 for students, lunch, and a game ticket. Space is limited. Register by September 2nd at MissouriBroadcasters.org.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty. If you need to sell your home to buy a new one, it's never been more important to have an experienced negotiator that you can trust. You need my friends Mark and Neil Gelman on your side. 314-336-1991. Go to thegelmanteam.com.
Hi, it's Debbie Monterey. When I endorse a product or service on the radio, I take it very seriously and I do my research. I did that when I first met Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty more than 5 years ago. Gloria is here in studio today. So Gloria, I'll ask the same question I asked you when we first met. What sets you apart from other local agents?
Well, number one is my guaranteed offers. I'm so confident that I'll sell your home at 100% of market value, or I'll pay the difference. Number two is I already have the buyers, so your home may already be sold. I literally have thousands of buyers in my Buyers in Waiting program. This is how I'm able to create higher demand, more offers, and that means more money in your pocket.
Get to know Gloria Liu like I have. Upfront written guarantees with the least hassle. Call Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Today, the Cards, the Athletics,
Ameren Total Access 550.
Cardinals Radio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Well, our visit with Cardinals hitting coach Brant Brown is not only what I hoped for, but it went above my expectations, Bernie Miklasz. That was really good. He was excellent, I thought, in explaining his mindset and what he does with the players.
He's very, very candid, which I do appreciate. And, you know, a couple things that jumped out at me, and I'm sure both of you and our listeners. And, you know, I asked him the first Jordan Walker question, and for me to kind of paraphrase his answer, you know, the first thing he said was that he's going to have to, in effect, you know, be more committed to preparation. And I have to be really honest here. That was a great answer in terms of honesty, but it was a very disappointing answer to hear from the batting coach of the Cardinals, because you would think by now Jordan Walker has experienced so much failure that he would be working harder than anybody on that team to prepare. And, you know, to hear that basically that commitment's not there, or it's there, but not as much drive as it should be. And to hear later on when Brownie was talking about it, it doesn't seem like there's the buy-in is there as well. I don't know, man. That's I'm not doing a Chicken Little here, but that's very disturbing, to be honest with you. It really is.
Yeah, it doesn't sound great. It's very clear in a lot of the conversations we've had with Oli this year, and now this conversation with Brant. And it's not been the same every time we've done a show with Marmol, but this one with Brant Brown, it was very clear there's a great deal of frustration. And it sounds like frustration on the part of the coaching staff that is trying to get certain players to receive certain messages and aren't receiving those messages, or they hear them and just aren't going with them, that there's some convincing that still needs to be done. And yeah, part of it is on the coaching staff to figure that out. Got to figure out a way to deliver a message to a player and get that player to go along with it. However, there's also a lot of personal responsibility here. And every conversation I've ever had with a hitting coach, and now including this one, there always seems to be some level of frustration with hitters that they don't get the message sometimes, or they just feel comfortable doing their own thing and not whatever's being taught to them. And I get the sense that that's happening here, and I don't know everything, obviously, but I kind of get the sense that maybe that's happening here at a much greater degree than they would like it to.
Bernie, can I also say, I feel like we have got to manage expectations better around here. And I heard so many people echo that, the core of the future of the Cardinals is blah, blah. There's no core. This whole season was about trying to figure out what you have. Who out of this group, aside from Mason Wynn, I'll give you, and Brendan Donovan, obviously, but he's already graduated from that runway period. This to me was all about who are you going to keep and who are you going to move forward with Chaim Bloom. I really appreciate the honesty from Brown and taking us behind the scenes here. This was not anything more than airing out frustrations publicly and giving us really good insight on what they pound into these players over and over.
Yeah, the question I asked him about, why the Cardinals are so unsuccessful as a group in terms of hitting, 95 plus mile an hour pitches. I'm not saying it's easy to do it, but a lot of teams do it very well. This team does not do it very well. And I don't think it's a coaching issue at all. I mean, he told us exactly what he's trying to get the players to do. He's trying to speed them up. He's telling them go into the cage and set that dial higher where you may be frustrated in the cage, but it'll make you better in a game. That makes a lot of sense to me. What's the point of having a batting practice where you're setting the dial in a cage to a speed level that you can handle and you can hit line drives? How do you get better doing that? That's the easy part. You got to go. You got to give yourself a much more difficult test to get better during games. So, yeah, there's some things, frankly, I'd like to say, but I better not because I'm afraid to, but I don't want to go overboard.
Let's take a quick break and tell us about something that I know you're very proud of, and that is your relationship with Saliga Heating and Cooling.
Thank you. I am. Saliga Heating and Cooling is a Daikin comfort dealer. Been helping St. Louis families since 1927. The same generations of Saliga family have been taking of generations of St. Louis families. I love that. And I come from a family that had a business for 70, 80 years. So I know what that's like. And the Miklas family has relied on Saliga Heating and Cooling for a long time, probably 17 years now. And we have discovered over and over again how Saliga sets the standard for honesty, integrity, their knowledge, their professionalism, prompt service. We have found in our experience multiple times, if we have a problem, the first thing Saliga will do will look for a less expensive solution. They don't go straight to the biggest repair job, the most expensive, costliest repair job they can find. They're going to look for a way to get the problem solved that's going to save you money. And they've done that repeatedly for us. So that's why we trust them 100%. One other thing to tell you about, they have a priority club. It's a maintenance program that's going to save you money by extending the life of your current equipment. And you'll receive priority scheduling and have the comfort of knowing your home is safe and ready for all seasons. So to find out more about Saliga Heating and Cooling, this Daikin comfort dealer, just go to SaligaHeatingandCooling.com. Thank you.
Calling all future sportscasters. Sharpen your skills and learn from the best of the Missouri Broadcasters Association Sportscasters Forum, Tuesday, September 16th in St. Louis. Join Cardinals beat reporters, broadcasters, and the legendary John Rooney, the voice of the Cardinals, for insider sessions on play-by-play, interviewing, reporting, and more. Then cap the day with a Cards-Reds game at Busch Stadium. Open to college students and broadcasting pros. Just $10 for students, lunch, and a game ticket. Space is limited. Register by September 2nd at Missouri Broadcasters.org.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgaier of Fire Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
You hear that? That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. OpenPhone gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. OpenPhone lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you and your team can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? OpenPhone automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With OpenPhone's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions, and use those insights to coach your team and level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with OpenPhone. OpenPhone. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try OpenPhone for free at openphone.com/try and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's openphone.com/try. openphone.com/TRY.
Frank, did you get the mail?
Coupon, Medicare, AARP. Oh, wait, this one says open immediately.
First one in the trash.
Every day we're bombarded with messages that we don't care about. Problem is, there might be an important message in there that affects you, like retirement. For example, on September 23rd and 25th, Steve All of the All Financial Group will be hosting a Taxes in Retirement seminar at Stone Summit. From the big beautiful bill to taxes on your Social Security, Steve will cover it. It's a complimentary event, but seating is limited, so reserve your seat today. Call 636-230-8824 or online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
What about this coupon for a new lawn service?
We live in a condo.
So?
On the 3rd floor. Mom always said I shouldn't have married you.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult a qualified professional or guidance before making any purchasing decisions.
Now back to the Gashouse Gang, sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling and by Anderson Hospital on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Well, just a couple minutes left, Bernie Miklasz. Again, I would encourage people to follow this show because Oli Marmol has made it a pledge, Bernie, to finish this season with coaches. So you got any requests? You want John Jay coming in to talk a little defense?
Whatever Oli wants to bring with him, it's great stuff. We could have a return engagement with Dusty Blake as well, because there's been a lot going on since then. You know, some individual pitchers have kind of gone the wrong way, and I know he's doing everything he can to whatever is possible that he can do with them to sort of get them back to higher ground. But as time goes on, guys, you know, it just seems so obvious to me that this is more of a personnel issue than anything else.
Yeah. And, you know, Chris, this show does very well right now. The people might not be in the seats, but they are paying attention to this team and they just want to be told what's going on. It's that simple.
Yeah. The roster is just not good enough to win. They could probably be a little bit over 500, but this particular roster for 2025 is not a great roster. It's just not. And, you know, you have one of your guys who's supposed to be your best offensive producer who's just not that guy anymore in Arenado. And when you don't have that, you no longer have Goldschmidt, who was also supposed to be the other one. You're now relying on these younger players to grow quickly, and it isn't going to happen. So, I've been in defense of the coaching staff this entire season because I think they are doing what they can with what they have. And I think if you put anybody in this position, Terry Francona, Bruce Bochy, first of all, none of those guys would take this job right now because they would want to manage winners. They'd want to manage teams that are ready to win right now. But I don't think they'd be getting much better results out of this particular squad. I just don't. I think there's a personnel issue, like Bernie said.
Well, it's not going to be immediate by any stretch, but things are about to change around here. Chaim Bloom is going to take over officially in less than a month. With Bernie Miklasz, Chris Ranji, I'm Tom Ackerman, the Gashouse Gang, produced by Matt Bajeski. Bernie, have a good one. Thanks so much.
Enjoyed it, as always, guys.
Always good to be with Ranji, and I'll be back tomorrow at noon.